Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, everyone. If it's Wednesday, it must be time for some wow in your life. So, welcome to Wow Wednesday. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network, along with my two sisters, Trish Carr and Susan Winter, and this entire amazing sisterhood and family of extraordinary women going for more to make a bigger impact in their lives and in the lives of everyone that they meet. Today, March 1st, kicks off Women's History Month. And I like to call it Herstory, because why is it HIS for him? Like, it's about us, right? So today is the beginning of Women's Herstory Month. So as we go through this month, be sure to pause and reflect and honor some woman who came before you that made a difference in your life so that you could advance. And Burge Smith-Lyons, my guest today, is certainly one of those for me. So I look forward to having all of you get to know her in today's topic on giving your way to prosperity. Right before I bring on Burge, let me share some really exciting announcements for things that are happening in the wonderful, wild, and wacky world of Women's Prosperity Network. And you can get all the links and the information for what I'm about to share at our website, womensprosperityNetwork.com. Just go to the events calendar and everything I'm mentioning is there for you. So first of all, tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern, I'm offering a masterclass for all of you who have a passion and desire to lead a movement, to grow your tribe, to expand that difference. And I want to support you in dealing with some of the most common challenges that we face today as leaders. So I'm doing a masterclass on that tomorrow. Next Wednesday, in addition to Wow Wednesday in the afternoon, we are celebrating International Women's Day together. And we're hosting a Spotlight on Leaders Summit where you're going to get bite-sized nuggets of wisdom from 9 of the extraordinary women in our community, as well as an opportunity to share and exchange ideas through this event. So make sure you check that out. That's Wednesday, March the 8th. And then the following weekend, our 2-day sales and marketing boot camp. And if I said the word sales and your skin crawled, you want to get to the workshop, because sales is just a way of serving others and receiving exchange. And when we can remember that giving and receiving are the same energy, everything flows more abundantly and prosperously, which leads me to today's conversation. Nice little segue there, huh, Burge?
Yeah, perfect.
Bringing it all back with today's guest, my dear, dear friend, mentor, and colleague, Burge Smith-Lyons. And we're going to talk today about giving your way to prosperity, which may seem like an oxymoron. And it will all come clear as we dive into our show today. And let me tell you a little bit about Burge and her background. And I'm only going to share a little bit because she's got a lot of background. So we'll just do some of the highlights. Burge Smith-Lyons is the founder and CEO of Essence of Being, the Healing Forest Foundation, and the Conscious Leadership Academy. For more than 40 years, she has helped thousands, and I mean thousands, probably tens of thousands, of men, women, and children and companies internationally with emotional and spiritual healing, self-development, communication techniques, relationships, abundance, team building, and leadership development. She's an international best-selling author, motivational and keynote speaker, a channeler, spiritual healer, hypnotherapist, relationship and communications expert. She has built a school in Liberia, Africa, and just recently received an award for her work and her efforts there. She's amazing. We've traveled the world together, been on TV shows together, and I have done her work, and it has helped me in ways I could list a big long one, and maybe I'll do it later, but let me get you to experience the Burge.
I love it when you call me that.
I know you, well, you're
The Lord.
about to be burged, and you'll know what that means in a moment. So welcome, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so honored to be here, Nancy. You're my cohort in prosperity and love and commitment. And thank you for everything that you and your sissies are doing.
You are most welcome. You're most welcome. Well, let's dive into this concept of giving your way to prosperity. And you're like, what? How could that be? Because if I give it, then I don't have it, would be the typical, reaction to something like that.
Right, right. Well, as you said, and as I say, I've been saying for the last 30 years, in essence of being, the more you give, the more you receive, the more you receive, the more you give. And that giving and receiving is the same energy. And that is one of my TED Talks that I do because it's true. And just to give you a little bit of background about it, about why I figured this out is because not so long ago, I mean, maybe a while ago, I was divorced, and you have this in common with me. I was divorced, a single mom. I'd lost everything. I was bankrupt. I'd lost my business, my home, everything. And I kept thinking, why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. This is, why is this happening? And I've been teaching workshops about prosperity and abundance. So I felt like a failure about that. I'm like, why is it not working for me if it's working for everybody else? And so I realized what I had to start doing was giving my way and raising my own vibration. So bottom line, if you are feeling and you're feeling guilty, or you're feeling not good about yourself, and you're not feeling abundant, and you're not feeling, it's like, why can't I have all the things I want in my life? And when you're vibrating that, because I'm a firm believer of subconscious beliefs, and your thoughts create reality and all of that. And I said, I've got to shift this. I've just got to shift this. And so what I started doing is I started giving my way to prosperity, meaning whenever I had $1, I would give it to somebody. Because if it was somebody that needed it more than I did, or even if it was $2 or 50 cents or something, and I started priming the pump. Remember those old pumps?
Yeah.
Where you prime it and then finally the water comes out. Well, that's what I did. I started priming the pump and saying, okay, I want to raise my own vibration. I want to raise my own belief that all is well and that the universe will provide to me. And the more I give, the more I receive, the more I receive, the more I give. And so bottom line is I started doing all of that, and I made myself feel better. I felt, wow, that person really needed that. That person, I gave them something that they didn't have, for even if it was just a little, even if it was a smile or a hug or love or money. And I started priming that pump, and what it did is it raised my own vibration of appreciation. And then I was like, so I matched it. So I was sending that out to the universe, and what it did is it brought back more of what I wanted. And so I kept doing it and kept doing it and kept doing it. Of course, I have millions in assets. I've traveled the world, taught on 6 continents. My husband and I've been together 26 years. And, things that I've been able to teach to so many people, and with children and building schools and all that other stuff. So it was a profound lesson for me, just to keep my vibration. So that's basically the premise, but I'm going to kind of go through.
Yeah, we'll dive into that. I have a question for you. So, and I've experienced this myself in the past. So I want to hear your advice to help someone else who may be feeling it. So you said you just started giving your way. You didn't really have much to give, but you would give $1. And here's what I know. Sometimes when you're feeling anxious about money, and then you have this conscious thing, well, Burge said I should give my way to prosperity, so I'm going to give this $1. And then it's almost like it sticks in the hand because you're afraid to let it go, because, oh, what if I don't get any more? Like, how do you bridge that emotional blockage that can really show up?
Yeah, you're speaking my language. Good question. So we're going to go through that with everyone, because I'm very experiential with people, because I want you to discover perhaps what your blocks are. Maybe you do have that block. Maybe you have that block of, but there's not enough, right? If bottom line is there's not enough, how do you go from scarcity to abundance? How do you go from self-doubt to self-love? How do you do that? And so it's a process. And I'm going to take you through perhaps some of your own blocks, and get your pen and paper out, everybody, because I want you to be writing some things down here in a minute, so that you can discover what it is that maybe your block is. Maybe it's receiving, maybe it's the giving, maybe it's both, right? And so there are steps that you can go through to just, again, prime the pump. And first you have to trust and allow and don't ask how. That's one of my favorite things.
That's one of my favorite Burgisms. The other one I'll sneak in is my strength lies in my vulnerability, which was a big one for me to learn.
Yeah, definitely. It's very, it is an oxymoron. What do you mean? I'm vulnerable and strong? I don't get it. It doesn't compute mentally, but we're going to that emotional side of it, because it's all kind of figured out. You're conscious and you're subconscious. So for instance, we have these conscious thoughts about money. And maybe that's what we want. That's our gas. That's what we're driving around with our gas on, saying, this is what I want. And I want to be rich, or I want to be wealthy, or I want to be able to be prosperous for other people and do well in the world. And yet at the same time, we're driving around with a brake on because our belief is that maybe we can't have it, or we don't deserve it, or there's not enough. Okay. And so that brake is the resistance to believing that it can be possible. And so we drive around with our brake and our gas on. And so we spin our wheels, right?
And we go nowhere.
Right. We end up spinning our wheels. Maybe we make some, maybe we lose it, and so what ends up happening is most of us know how to let go of the gas. We know how to let go of our desires. We know how to let go and settle. So what I'm wanting to do with all of us is to really help us shift letting go of the brake. Because if we let go of the resistance or the belief that we can't have it, or it's not going to happen on our time, and we're impatient sometimes, then basically if we let that go, our desires, we can just keep going. We don't have to give up. We don't have to settle. Okay.
Yeah.
So so for instance, our conscious beliefs, if you want more money in your life, what do? You look at your credit report. There are strategies that you can look at. You can say, all right, investment strategies. I'm going to look at all the investments out there, and those there are tools or affirmations, right? Affirmations for prosperity. There are all of these things you can do consciously, and maybe they come through, maybe they don't, maybe it's not fast enough, right? And so what ends up happening is perhaps those are those conscious things you can do that you start focusing on, but it's all that subconscious part that perhaps is not aligned with your conscious. Things like, I don't deserve it, I'm not good enough, I'm unworthy. So if we can shift those the subconscious beliefs, if we can shift those, then everything will bring it to a conscious level, and now you can do something about it. Because some people don't even know. They don't know what they think. They don't know what they're
they don't know. Exactly. And here's where like my aha moment around this is, if you are saying you want more money, you want more advancement, you want more clients, if you're saying I want these things, but you're not experiencing those, there's a mismatch between the belief system you have in your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. The question then becomes, well, how do I figure out what's in there?
Well, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to go in there and kind of poke around with a stick and see perhaps some clues about what it is that you're believing that could be blocking you and holding you back.
Okay.
So we're going to raise that to that conscious level, because if you can do that, then we can shift it. And let me just say, it's socially acceptable to not receive. However, it's spiritually inappropriate, because many of us are givers. Okay. Many of us give, and we give and give and give and give. And we think, well, when's it going to be my turn? And therefore, what we end up doing sometimes is we're holding our hand out saying, I want it, but we block it at the same time. And we're not willing to receive it, because for many of us, perhaps in our lifetime, we have had transactional relationships around money or around anything, meaning, well, if I receive something, now I owe somebody something, or there are strings attached. So I'm just not going to receive. And so that we don't consciously say that necessarily, but that is kind of what could be played out in here. And so through this process, we'll find out.
Well, and even with receiving a compliment, like, oh, you look so beautiful today. Oh, thank you. I rolled out of bed and barely did my hair. Like we bat back, even receiving compliments, receiving help. And for me, one of my big lessons around that was I thought that receiving or asking for help made me look weak. Like I wasn't good enough to do it on my own, and all of that stuff that goes with it, which is where you taught me, be vulnerable and strong. People love to help, and tap into that energy of what it feels like to give. Like I love to give, and I know you do. And if you're listening in, you probably love to give others. Like it's a gift to you to do the giving. And when we don't receive, we're denying people that gift, right?
Exactly. It's
Yeah.
like, and we all have this innate feeling of receiving. We do. We're meant to receive. We're meant to give and receive. And so the bottom line is, like you said, about even when you give compliments or you give anything, it warms your heart. So like when you give love, I'll give you an example. When you give love to a baby and the baby, you're going, yeah, and you're loving on the baby. And what's the baby doing? the baby is receiving. And so that warms your heart, doesn't it? It gives something back to you. And you don't even have to do anything. By that baby receiving, it's giving something back to you. Therefore, it's true that happens innately all the time. And we used to do that. It's an innate experience of ours just to receive. We don't have to give anything back just because we received it, because we're already doing that by the simple act of us. Hey, what if we deserve just because we exist? What if we just received?
Wait a minute. I don't have to do anything to deserve to receive.
What does that baby do? No, don't give me that. No, don't love on me. Let me wash your car for you first. No, the baby doesn't do that. But see, we were all babies, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have that innate ability just to allow ourselves to receive. And by the simple fact of us receiving, we give something back. And if we block it in any part of that, whether it's giving or receiving, it still gets blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And so that subconscious belief that we're going to find out what you might have in there, that is something that will block it. And that's what's running the bus. I don't care how many affirmations you do. If you still have this feeling or this block that, yeah, but I can't give, or I can't receive, or what I'll be weak, all of those things that we tell ourselves, right? Then that's what's running the bus, and that will trump every time your conscious thought, because it's one. Did you know there are 40,000 more subconscious thoughts than to one conscious thought? Now, they proved this in quantum physics. Don't ask me how.
Okay.
But that's what they're saying. So if that's true, how important is it to know what your subconscious thought is?
So what I'm hearing is we need to, yes, affirmations are good. And actually you have a great gift for us today. We need to use those affirmations. And even in saying the affirmations, if there's any kind of like, like you feel like you're lying to yourself when you say them sometimes, that means there's a subconscious thought running underneath, and we got to get to what those are. So let's dig in.
Do that. All right, let's do it. So what I'm going to do is just a very quickie stream of consciousness writing, and what this means, and you can type it or you can think it, whatever you want to do. Don't edit it. Don't try to figure it out. This is just for you. Okay, so I want you to think about the first thing that comes up. And so I'm going to say a statement and you finish it. Now you could write this down, and we're going to do 5 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we'll talk about it. Then we'll have some people share. Okay.
Perfect.
All right. So stream of consciousness. Don't edit it. First thing you think of. Ready? Rich people are. Just write down the first thing that comes up in your head.
And I'm putting them in the chat as we go as well.
Perfect. Okay. the next one is wealth is just finish that statement. And the next one, the worst thing about money is, the worst thing about money is, okay, I'm loving these answers that people are writing in the chat. That's great. And the last two, be really honest with yourself. I have a fear of receiving money because why? And just write down whatever you're thinking. And the last one is, I have a fear of giving money because
All right.
These are good, right?
These are really good.
So these are not, it's not a right or wrong answer here. This is just for you. And thank you, those of you who've shared in the chat, but also just anything that you're writing, and those of you out there in Facebook land or Zoom land, you're writing whatever it is. And these are your subconscious beliefs that are coming up. Okay. So the thing is, whatever you wrote, you might want to look and see if there's a theme there.
All right. Are you ready to have people join us, my friend?
Sure. So we can share. So what would be really powerful is if some of you share some of these things, or we can talk about what was on the chat, and we can kind of walk through this, because it is going to be, everybody has similar, there are things that you're going to resonate with and how we can shift that. And then I'm going to give you tools at the end here to how to fix, not fix. You don't need to be fixed.
Right. All right. So go ahead, raise your hand. And if you are on your phone, unmute yourself, but just make sure you got some quiet in the background. So we've got great sound quality for everyone. And I'm going to go to hands up. Laura Barker has your hands up. Laura Barker.
Good morning. Oh my goodness. I am so glad I'm here today. This just, everything you have said has just hit home with me. And this exercise that you just did, I did write down my answers. At first I was just going to do it in my head, and I thought, no, do this right. You know, let's play full on. And what was interesting, some of the answers didn't really surprise me, you know. But number 3, which was the worst thing about money. The worst thing about money is it corrupts. Holy moly. What? I'll be corrupted if I receive money? OMG, right?
Right? So there's a block right there. Thank you
Yeah,
that's a huge block, and that is a subconscious block. You don't wake up every morning and say, hey, I'm not going to receive money today because it corrupts.
Right.
However, many people do. If you said rich people are, or wealth is corrupt, or rich people are greedy, or those things. So if you have that belief somewhere in there, and they're probably not even your beliefs, because beliefs are handed down just like genes. Okay. And we get that from our outside sources. And so if you have that belief that's stuck in there somewhere, then that is a huge block to say, wow, if I become rich or wealthy, or if money corrupts, then why would I ever want to have it? I don't want to be that person.
Mhm.
So I'm going to
Absolutely.
keep it. I'm going to ask for it, but I don't really want it because that's going to make me a bad person or corrupt or fill in the blank, right?
And get this, you said there was a trend, right? You know, like we see a trend in these. So like for me, wealth is wise. So that was what came up, was wealth is wise. So that's good. That's good. But then number 4, right? I have a fear of receiving money because it will alienate me from those I love.
Mm.
Oh my gosh, right? Which just goes to the fact that these beliefs were handed down to me.
Of course. And we call that crabbing, by the way. If any of you out there have that belief that I'm going to lose people or lose friends or things are not going to be the same. And of course, change is scary to some people, right? That what we call that is crabbing. Where if you've got somebody who's a little crab that's trying to get out of the pot, what do the other crabs do?
Pull
They
it
Drag
back.
it back down.
Grab, put them back down.
Yeah.
They try to pull that crab back down for 2 reasons. One is either they want to get out too, and the weight of them pulls them down, or they're saying, hey, don't leave, come back, come back. So what ends up happening, that little crab, even though you try to step out of that, sometimes that subconscious part of you is saying, I don't want to leave these people, or I'm feeling that I have to bring them up as well. And the best way, by the way, the best way to support your family, your friends, your network around you is to demonstrate how to do these things, or demonstrate that giving and receiving is the same energy. And what you do by doing that, you can help uplift, okay, and elevate other people without you having to come down. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you that's brilliant. Thank you. This has been amazing.
So good. And it just keeps getting better and better. Burge offers everything she does is very experiential. One of her flagship workshops is called Essence of Being. We'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And I've also put in the chat a link to prosperity affirmations, a gift from Burge for all of us. And yes, do the affirmations, and then again, be aware. Oh, did that feel like a lie? Did a contrary thought come up? Then we want to get that cleared. So for everyone here that's on the phone, to get the free affirmations, you're going to go to bit.ly/PROSPAFF for prosperity affirmations, but PROSPAF, all one word, all lowercase. Let's take a few more people. Are you ready, my friend? Let's go next to Regina. Your line should be open.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. I was really just stunned.
Isn't it amazing?
I said, rich people are ugly,
Mm.
but wealth is beautiful. The worst thing about money is not having any. I have a fear of receiving money because I'll just lose it all. I have a fear of giving money because I won't have enough.
Right. And that's thank you, Regina, for sharing all of that. And it is eye-opening, isn't it? And the thing about the giving part, what we had said earlier, that many people have that I won't have enough. There's not enough for me. And so that is a fundamental belief in I'm not enough. So if you want to boil it down to there's not enough, you could boil it down to I'm not enough. And it brings in your own belief in your own worth and your own deservability. And so that's, of course, as we know, it's scarcity thinking. And what that means is that a lot of people believe that. A lot of people think that there's not enough because we've got evidence, right? We have evidence that has proven that to us before. So the key here is to look for new evidence. Look for new evidence that I am enough. And the more I give, the more I receive. And the more I receive, the more I give. And again, of course, as I say, trust and allow and don't ask how. And you can do a little bit at a time. And you can shift those feelings around that, shift those beliefs around that. And that's the key, because you can do these. I've given you affirmations and you can do them and they work. However, if you've got some of those other little things you just found out, you don't want to become ugly because you're rich.
Mhm.
And that's a huge block. That's a block from you receiving what you really deserve. Because if you believe, if we can prove to you that there is enough for all of us, you know, there's enough money in the world for every one of us to be billionaires. Did you know that?
Oh, wow.
There's enough money already made in the world, enough cash, okay, that has been produced that every single one of us could be billionaires. It's the distribution of everything. And it's not, I'm not trying to be socialist here about any of that. I'm saying the distribution of that, there is enough. But if we don't believe that we're enough, that's where it starts. That's where you have to, that's what you can shift for yourself is, I am enough and I deserve and I am worthy.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
So good. And Regina, thank you so much for sharing, and Burge, of course, for your response there, because one of the things in this scarcity environment is it's also experiences we may have had, experiences we've seen our parents have, and it's what's drummed into our heads everywhere we go. You read the newspaper, you watch television, you hear conversations. Oh, the recession is coming. Oh, this bad thing is happening. That bad thing is that. Oh, there's not enough. I better hoard whatever I do have because there's not enough. And quite frankly, I'm going to get a little socialist. That is a mechanism of control so that the people who have all the money, you know, they're operating from a similar fear standard.
Of course. And so
Yeah.
when you come to Essence of Being, we prove to you, we actually play a game where you get to see how life would be different. How would life be different if I believed that there is enough? And it's part of, that's why I do what I do, is to really support people in elevating a whole nother way of being, because we can do this together. And if we all believe that there is enough and we can start demonstrating that within our own orbit, and then it spreads out to all the different places that I've been all around the world, that we can make a difference and we can change that. And we do prove that that is the case. And by the way, your net worth is your network. Okay. And Women's Prosperity Network and Essence of Being and a lot of these networks that all of us are connected to and work with, that is our net worth, because we have access to resources. Because what I mean by that is, you might feel like you're alone. You might feel like you don't have enough. You can't figure out how to get out of whatever debt you're in, let's say, or whatever space you're in, and you want, or you just want to improve. Maybe you just want to improve on it. And the more access you have to resources, and resources can be people, can be other, it can be a lot of different things, but our net worth is our network. And the more people you connect with and open up to and allow and ask for support and be vulnerable, right, Nancy, then you're able to then you're able to really allow things to flow. It's all about flow. It's all about energy flow. And the thing about, I can give a tool, or you want to go to another person? Want to go to another person first, or you want?
Do one more person, and then we'll do, I'm sorry, do a tool, then I'll do another person. We got plenty of people in queue, and I want to make sure everybody knows how they can join you for Essence of Being workshop.
Well, yeah, sure. Well, essenceofbeing.com, you can go there, and Nancy's going to put the link there as well. She's got a link there for you. However, the tool that I'm going to give you about money flow, okay, is, and by the way, it's all has to do with water, right? Cash flow, the ocean of abundance, multiple streams of income, currency, and water. There's a lot of other, water is emotion. All right. And so it's called the bathtub theory. If you can just put in your mind, when you're filling up a bathtub, and you've got one trickle coming in, which is your job or your one business. In other words, it's one stream coming in. It takes a lot longer to fill up, right? Unless you have multiple streams. If you turn it on, turn that faucet on all the way, multiple streams, you don't have to be locked into one way. The other part of the bathtub theory is if you have leaks in your bathtub, it's going to take a long time or never fill up, meaning that one thing you can do is you can track your leaks. Track your leaks of where your cash and your money is going, because a lot of times you're unconscious about it. You're really subconscious about I don't know where my money went. I mean, I had it, where'd it go? And so you can track it. And I encourage all of us, challenge you for 1 week, or if you're really hardcore, a month. Track your leaks, track every place your money goes, put it on your phone and just make a little list. And you'll be amazed at the end of the month or the end of the week where your money went, so that you can, what it's doing is it's raising your consciousness to it. So you can kind of patch those leaks so that the multiple streams of income coming in, and patch the leaks, and you'll fill up your tub faster.
I love it. I love it. And I never thought about all the terms and verbiage around money being so associated with water. That was very cool. Thank you, my friend.
Welcome.
Awesome. Okay, so I gave you the affirmations. Right now, I want to have Burge tell you a little bit more about her play shop, The Essence of Being, and then I'll open up for some more callers. And this very experiential play shop is something that I have done. So typically once a year, I ensure, so obviously I'm a leader and I'm growing and I'm committed to growing and I've had great success and I want more of it. And I know that more of that comes the more I know myself. So once a year, I always do some type of self-development, personal development, self-mastery course. And I have done this 3-day workshop because it was my commitment to myself. It's 3 days. It's called Essence of Being. And describe it a little bit, Burge.
Sure. It's our flagship, and we have so many for you to go to and experience online and in person. But it's 3 days of, we play a lot of games and we have experiences that you get to discover for yourself. What are those subconscious beliefs around money, around relationships, around love, around purpose, around health, around all of it? It's very all-inclusive, and we tap into that emotional, spiritual, mental, and physical side, and it's an experience that stays with you for the rest of your life, and you become part of a global community of people of seeking, just like Women's Prosperity Network, seeking support and seeking, maybe there's another way of being. And the tools that you get are lifelong, and the friends and connections that you get are lifelong as well. And then you can go further from that. There's so many different levels, but it's something it's our 30th year, and it's our 30th anniversary.
Wow, that's awesome. 30 years, thousands and thousands of lives transformed. I highly recommend it. And Laura says she's bummed she's already booked for that weekend. Do you offer it? How many times a year do you offer it?
Well, we're going to be doing it, this particular one, we're doing it again in May in Texas. So it's Atlanta in March and May, Texas. And right now that's all we have on the books for that particular experience. But we have so many others that you could join us for. But those are the two at the moment.
Okay, good. I'm looking out. Yeah, I think you have one in June that I'm thinking about coming to. So
yes, that's my higher vibes one.
Yeah, higher vibes, baby. That's my next personal development. So the March date is March 24th to 26th, and the website is go to bit.ly/EOB March. So Essence of Being, EOB March, all lowercase. And then where in Texas will you be having it?
It's McAllen, which is in the border town. So it's near Houston.
Okay.
So the thing about it is when you go to that link, you can look at the schedule of events.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So go to bit.ly/EOB March, all one word, all lowercase. All right, let's open up for our next caller, and that's going to be Christy Sullivan. Your line is open. We'd love to hear from you. Hi, Christy.
Hi, thanks for having me speak. Thank you. This is really always interesting to look at, sort of like you said, the commonalities. And I actually was going to ask, and you addressed it with the last person, about that, like, course or feeling of not being either good enough or not being enough, the deservability, like you said. I love that, because I think it always boils down to that. My question is it important to know the source of that? And I know there can be many different sources. I do a lot of healing and inner work. Like, I know it could come from ancestral lineage, from culture, from parents, and from most likely places that we don't even remember. So my question is, is it important to uncover the source of it in order to clear it?
My belief is no. You don't need to know where it came from. A lot of people are very curious, perhaps. And what you can do if you do uncover, specifically, and usually it's not just one place or not like one experience that you've had, right? From this lifetime or others, whatever your belief system is. It's not important for you to find out where it came from in order for you to shift it. That's my belief. However, it also, here's the cool thing about shifting beliefs and how connected we all are. When you shift something within you, okay, it actually goes up and back. It goes forward and it goes backwards. And so you actually energetically shift all of those around you, and anybody that you may have had some kind of a connection to you that, for instance, if your mom or your dad were, if you don't speak to them because of whatever reason, oftentimes what happens when you shift that belief within you, it shifts something for them, because we're that connected. And you don't do it for that reason, but it is a side effect that's really fascinating to me and very powerful. But to answer your question, my belief is you don't really need to know in order for you to shift.
Thank you. And the reason I ask that is because, like you said, it's not just a matter of like saying affirmations, because if it's in the subconscious, then there's sort of this root. So, and I'm sure your program helps create that shift, but is there any one place we could start for creating that shift? And I liked you said, look for new evidence.
Yeah, if you look at the affirmations that Nancy put out there, that's one place that you can do, is you start affirming. And these are different kind of affirmations, by the way. They're very specific affirmations, and I do them myself, but they're something you do every day that puts yourself in a different mindset, but also an emotional place, because you can do a lot of mindset work. But if your emotional block and your spirit block is still there, then it's still there. And that's, to me, a little bit even more reason to shift it, because your beliefs and your emotions are your drivers. Therefore, your mind, you can change your mind all the time. But if you still have some kind of holdout, emotionally or spiritually, then that can keep you still in the place that you don't want to be in, perhaps. So that would be my first start, is that there's so many things on our site you can go to and check it out. But definitely there's online things, and there's things that I know that Nancy has and that I have and that we have online and in person that you can do for sure. But I would go to the site and check out all the different options.
Thank you.
Awesome, Christy. And I love the question that you asked, because one of my beliefs, so I agree with Burge, my belief also is that you don't have to know the root of it, and trying to figure out the root of it is actually a trap of the subconscious mind to keep you swirling in the crap. It's like, oh, I have to figure this out. Why am I behaving this way? Okay, how about, whatever thing that happens, I'm going to shift my belief, and then we got to change the story around it, and we have to catch ourselves from going back into story. And that, again, is this cycle, and also a function of the subconscious mind's prime objective and directive, which is to keep you safe and keep you alive. So that's its job. and keeping you the same is the best way it knows to keep you alive. So we're going a little bit deeper here in, looking at why, if maybe you've had a repetitive pattern or you keep trying and there could be something in that subconscious mind designed to actually keep you safe. So what we want to do is show the subconscious mind you can be safe at your new level. And that's one of the workshop will bring you.
And the thing about it is, Nancy, the subconscious beliefs that we have, they are, they're real. I mean, they're real. And so the whole idea is, even if you don't know where they came from, the whole idea of finding what that is, what is that belief, that's when you can shift it, because we're bringing it to that conscious level. And listen, we use money to soothe our pain, by the way. And a lot of times we will spend money to avoid pain. Think about it. What do you do when you're not feeling good, or you're depressed, or
go buy something? Oops, did I say that out loud?
I just say that. You buy something, or we eat something, or we do, there's something, we're trying to avoid the pain. We're trying to numb out. And so it's just a way of doing that. And so what if we could shift it, and it's actually, if we can do this in a safe way. And this is the thing that I have found, taught on 6 continents, right? Everybody wants the same thing. Everybody wants to know that they're safe. They want to know that they're loved. They want to know they're loved, and they want to know that they make a difference, that they matter. And that's those are all the things that you can embody and demonstrate to the world when you're doing this kind of experience.
Beautiful. All right. Well, let's make sure that you do grab the affirmations. Go to bit.ly/PROSPAFF, and then get the workshop, and just go to the website. You can see all the information, bit.ly/EOB March. Let's go ahead and open up. Evis Ramirez, you're next.
Hello, good morning. Thank you so much. This has been really interesting. I wanted to share, and I don't see exactly the pattern, but I want you to tell me. So I said, rich people are blessed. Wealth is my petition and right. The worst thing about money is never enough. And I have a fear of receiving money because nothing came to my mind. I just leave it in blank. And the other one, I wrote instead, I don't have a fear of giving because I really like to give. So that's
interesting. It's interesting. Thank you. It's interesting that you didn't have an answer for receiving, right? So there's this blank. It's like, what does that mean, receiving? So maybe you don't have a fear. And the reason I use the word fear is because it's that false evidence appearing real, fear. So fear can keep us from moving forward. Okay. And so I did that on purpose. And so maybe you don't have a fear of receiving, but is it something that you said you give, you love to give. And so by, again, giving your way to prosperity, like we're talking about, you can give by raising your own love for yourself, and that you feel enough. You feel enough for them, even if it's just for a moment. And then, is it okay with you if you receive without giving something back?
Yes, I have to think about that.
Yeah, think about that one, because I'm tapping into you, and what I'm feeling is that there's a thing about receiving, that there's a transaction that I might owe somebody, or what do they want if I receive fully and freely? What do they want from me? And just think about it.
Yeah,
you don't have to answer it, or just kind of like that.
No,
let that sit.
I'm gonna ponder in that, because my thought was exactly that. I really don't have a fear of receiving. I'm open. I just don't have the fear, but I don't make that association that you said.
Mhm.
So that may be something. Yes.
And just notice the next time somebody wants to give you something, even if it's, do you want help doing the dishes? Because that's
Mhm.
receiving. When someone gives you a compliment, how do you respond? When you get not necessarily in a business mode, maybe it's a referral, or somebody treats you to one of their services. That's all a receiving thing. Oh, are they going to want something back for, like, just observe, like, and
Yeah.
I think you gave us the invitation or challenge to notice our money expenditures, where our leaks might be over the 7 days. I would say let's take a look at this giving and receiving over the next 7 days.
And the key here, and the tool or the way to start reframing that for yourself, and maybe just stepping into a new experience and owning it more, is saying thank you. Is just when someone gives you something, or if you ask for something and they give it to you, or even if you don't ask, is just say thank you and yes, thank you and yes, and breathe it in. And then you'll be able to notice and oh wow, that I feel like I really need to give something back. This just it feels like there's got to be a transaction here. It's got to be
Right.
tip for tat.
Like even when you go out to dinner with a friend and they say, "Oh, I've got this," what's your first response?
No.
I'm like,
Okay.
My first response is thank you.
It's taken me some training to be able to get there. So good. All right, Evie, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
And one of those things I'm going to say around this is guilt. So the thing I want to just offer to all of us out there, and maybe you put this down somewhere, but if you feel guilty about receiving, or if you feel guilty about not giving, or if you feel guilty about anything, okay, when you're vibrating guilt about anything, you're putting that out into the universe. And what you're saying is, guilt demands punishment. So what ends up happening is, if you have guilt anywhere in this money conversation or relationship conversation or whatever it is, if you're putting that out there, you are demanding punishment, because what that means is you will attract to you either someone or something to punish you, or you will self-sabotage. And so the opposite of guilt is what? Nancy knows, right, Nancy? What's the opposite of guilt?
I don't know.
Innocence.
Oh, innocence. Yeah, forgot that.
Oh yeah, that part. Yeah. So
Managing the chat, I was not.
no worries. Innocent is, I know you're doing 25 things. Innocent around money. So being innocent, and just anytime you feel guilty about receiving, or feeling guilty about not giving, or feeling guilty about anything, just know that what you're doing is you are setting yourself up to be punished, either by yourself through self-sabotage, or you're attracting punishment to you, not getting that job, or not getting that person, that referral, whatever. So my suggestion is to shift your whole thoughts around this and say, I'm innocent, and money is innocent. It's just energy, right?
Money is innocent. Good stuff. Good stuff. Breakthroughs happening all over the place. We still have a couple of minutes, my friend. Let's open up for Patricia Rogers.
Yay.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I am on the phone and I have my earplugs in and I am at the airport, but I was just sitting here. I want to say this right quick. When I was jumped on it first, I jumped into the call, and what happened, I walked away from the guy who took my bags, and I did not tip him, and I get money to tip people. And when I sat down here, because I was in another world, mentally, I was trying to get in here and sit down and get on this call, and I just got distracted. And when Burge, you started talking about giving, it hit me. I said, oh my God, I didn't tip that man. I went back outside to tip him, because you are so right. I just had to share that, because people need people, and I didn't want to walk off like that. But yeah, I'm just enjoying all of this conversation. I basically put my information in the chat, my statement in the chat, because I guess I have a blockage after listening to you. I know I have a blockage. There's one part of me that want to make money, a lot of money, but it's another part of me that's afraid of the work that it would take to make the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so many people. That is a block. That is such, thank you for sharing that and that immediate shift that you just did. But thank you for sharing about it's too much work, because that's so many people's blocks about, oh my God, I don't want to have all this money because I don't want to be responsible for it. And I may lose it. And it seems like a lot of work. So never mind. And so that can be a block. So, but think about it.
Okay.
You can, if you have the cash, you can pay others to do things for you. You don't have to do it all.
Hello.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true.
Awesome,
That's true.
Dr. Pat, and safe travels to Miami.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I was able to get on the call. I'm just killing some time. This is good.
Beautiful.
I needed to hear this. This is great.
Awesome. Yay. We love our Burge.
Yes.
And she's in Atlanta. So if you can make it, Dr. Pat, I don't know if you've ever done the workshop. Have you done Essence of Being?
Every time I try, I want to do it. I think I was going to go with her to Paris or Italy or something. Every time it's something that comes up. Like I'm listening to the one in Atlanta because I'm up in Atlanta now, up in this way now. So that, but then I got those two engagements for Texas, and now this one right here for Florida. So I don't know what her dates are. What are I didn't catch the actual dates.
Go to the website. March.
Okay. Yeah. Burge.com. I got it.
Well, it's essenceofbeing.com, but she put it in
essenceofbeing.com.
She put it in the chat, so you know. But it's March 24th through the 26th is the one in Atlanta. And by the way, I'm giving a special.
I might make that. I might can make that, Burge. Oh, okay. See, I was thinking, okay, because I'll be back in town on the 19th. Awesome. So yeah, and I did snapshot the affirmation. So I just got to snapshot the because it's not letting me cut and paste for some reason. But I have to cut. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. That's all I need to know. Thank you, ladies.
Awesome. I'd love to play with you. And also, there's a 97 off, right, Nancy?
Yeah, there's a coupon code 97 off. Will save you $97 off the enrollment.
Yeah, I would love to come. I would love to connect with you, Burge. It's been years. I know I saw you and met you, and I would love to come. Even at Lawana's retreat, I enjoyed you. But yes, I would love to come. And thank you for. I'm glad I was on the call. Yeah, I'm glad I was on the call.
All right, beautiful. All right, good to see you too, Simone. Glad you were here. And we got 1 minute left. There's a gentleman here by the name of Johnny. Is that my Johnny Angel?
Good morning, Johnny Angel here.
Hey, Johnny.
Good morning. I want to hug you too. I want to just hug a big one arm around each of you and just hug and kiss both your cheeks. I love you two so much.
Do you remember, Burge? We had known about each other, but it took Johnny Angel to actually bring us together. I remember the lunch at Lux, my friend. Thank you, Johnny Angel.
Johnny, the walking heart connected us.
It was a vision. It took 3 months to put you two together. It was a vision. It was just not a connection. Oh no, you didn't see it. You guys did not know each other. No, it was a vision. It was a very clear vision. And I don't care about credit, but it took me 3 months to get the two of you together. It was not a hunch or, oh, I could put these two. It was a clear vision I had to put the two of you together, and you didn't see it. Neither of you didn't see it until we had that lunch. So it's just the power of vision.
Absolutely. And thank you. And see what you've done for all of our communities. And so just when any of you think that you're not enough, or that you don't matter, or that you're not important, or that you don't make a difference, 90% of it is just showing up, right? Showing up. And you see how it has blossomed over these 10 years, Nancy, with Women's Prosperity Network and Essence of Being, and how we've merged and played together. Thank you.
So thank you, Johnny. Merge with the Burge. That's what I said.
Merge with Burge.
Merge with the Burge. It'll bring good things into your life.
Yes, merge with Burge.
Burge is on the verge of Burge is on the verge for the urge to splurge. Yeah, that's it.
All right. With that note, we're going to wrap up this wonderful Wow Wednesday. Thank you, my friend, for pouring into us, for all you do in the world and in my life personally. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Be sure to grab a gift. Be sure to get your ticket and go to womensprosperitynetwork.com. Check out the events. We've got lots of wonderful ways for you to celebrate you, spread that prosperity, continue to give and receive and all that good stuff. So join us at one of our upcoming events. We love you. Get out there. Make it a wow day. Bye, Burge.
Woo,
Bye.
woo,
Bye-bye.
woo, 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 woo.